coming in on our final topic, Black Panther television series. Now, this was teased, but when I looked online, I didn't really see too much on it. Disney Plus was talking about having a Black Panther television series. And I think I heard them mention something about this last year. Honestly, this is the best move that they could make. This could have been and this is kind of the problem I have with Disney Plus, especially with all of the questionable decisions they've been making over the years, especially with the television shows, such as, like She-Hulk, which is just absolute garbage, and some of the other shows they're putting out, especially the movies and stuff. This is definitely one that could have been a good build-up to, and probably made Black Panther Wakanda Forever a better movie had this series been implemented before before the sequel came out. Now, Black Panther, I think it's actually, honestly, growing up, I wasn't really close to Black Panther. And it isn't really until the MCU brought the character back that I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, I did watch the Ultimate Avengers animated film, and I thought Black Panther was pretty cool too. Since I've been reading more comics and stuff, which I need to start actually reviewing them, I'm like, okay, Wakanda, Black Panther is actually pretty cool. I just got to reading the 1977 run. Pretty badass. I actually enjoyed it. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be, and I've been basically familiarizing myself more with Black Panther, the lore around it, Wakanda, its influence in Africa, and the different characters that are in the actual stories themselves. I'm like, why the hell wasn't this series been adapted a long time ago? This is actually really good. It's a really good way of showing more of showing an interesting aspect of the Marvel universe, because there are a lot of really interesting characters in the Black Panther portion of the MCU, and I would like to see those fleshed out. More of what Shuri goes through, being a princess, whether it's through, academics, whether it's through, certain prejudices when it comes to like females and stuff in Wakanda. I would like to see her actual role in the royalty and things like that. That'd be interesting seeing what her life is, especially now after this Wakanda Forever. What is her role going to be? More of what the Dora Milaje, how do they train? How do they recruit? What are their lives about? I think that'll be pretty interesting. Okoye is by far one of the best characters in the MCU. What is her life like? Her husband is in jail for treason and shit. So how is she dealing with that? Which I wish they could have addressed in Wakanda Forever, but they never really did. So basically, I'm just saying that this is the best way to not only introduce reoccurring characters that have already been introduced. It's a good way to flesh out some of the characters that were introduced that didn't get no shine, as well as establishing new characters. Also, who are the villains that are in Wakanda? There are, when looked up, okay, Black Panther has some pretty interesting villains. You got the White Wolf, who is basically the opposite Black Panther, which is kind of what Killmonger became in the first film, although they called Bucky's character the White Wolf, kind of alluding to him being the villain. But anyways, in the comics, the White Wolf is T'Challa's adopted brother who got banished. And it would have been nice to see something like that. I mean, like I said, it kind of plays off like Killmonger is kind of taken over that role, but that'd have been interesting to see. Then you got N'Jadaka, who is interesting. He comes from more of like a futuristic space Wakanda that end up going to this intergalactic conquest. So I had to deal with that. That would have been pretty interesting to see, especially now that we've had the Thanos and the Guardians of the Galaxy and things like that. They've already introduced the time travel and the multiverse and stuff, so why not go ahead and do that? Then we have the Ichibe. I'm not sure how in the hell. Um, Basically, he's a Joker. I would have liked to seen that. I think that would have been pretty interesting. Evil genius who made a deal with Mephisto and seeks to destroy society. I think that would be pretty interesting and an interesting way of bringing Mephisto into the MCU. I know, they've had him be put into the Ghost Rider films, but they say the Ghost Rider films aren't MCU canon, so we can't really have that. But if we're going through the multiverse aspect of it, would Mephisto actually still be basically canon? Like, there are certain characters, I would say, like, is that a multiverse? Like, just to, go on. Are there certain characters that are like, there's a multiverse, and then there's like, say there's a multiverse, there's like 10 versions of me. Okay, would God be one version that's over all of those multiverses, over the multiverse? So each one we're all seeing the same person, or the devil, or whatever like that. So I'm like, okay, is Mephisto like that? Is it to where they got all of these multiple multiverses and stuff, but he's still like he's like the center? So all of these multiverses that are dealing with him, and not 10 versions of him. That's interesting. I don't know why I thought about that, but it was awesome. But the last character that I would have liked to have seen be like an enemy would be Kraven the Hunter. And I've never particularly liked him as a villain towards Spider-Man. I feel like getting more into his character, I would have liked to have seen him be more, okay, I'm going to go chase and hunt the Black Panther. I think that would actually be pretty freaking cool, especially considering his abilities and the origins of his abilities. It kind of would make sense for him to actually go against Black Panther rather than freaking Spider-Man. But Sony, I believe, has the rights to that, especially considering they have the Kraven the Hunter movie coming out. Why in the hell we have a Kraven the Hunter movie coming out? I have no freaking idea, but hey. But anyways, Wakanda series, Black Panther series, actually be pretty cool. I think it's a really good idea. Of all the ideas they've had, nobody cares about Ironheart. Nobody cares about Agatha. What was it? And the witches. I don't know. And Agatha and the witches of Eastwick. Nobody cares about Echo. I will say that of all of them, Black Panther has the biggest potential to be solid. Now, the movies were undeniably woke, so there's definitely going to be the aspect of wokeism and I hope Disney straightens up. But Ant-Man just dropped, and it ain't doing so